my name is Amar, and I'm associated with UniNets. I think it's a 4 year now. Okay. Overall, I have 15 plus experience, and I have experience on different technology. Okay. So I'm working professional, and I have experience on the firewall. I have experience on the proxy technology. I have experience on load balancing. Okay. And I have experience on cyber security. So if you talk about the firewall, so I do have experience on Checkpoint, Palo Alto, ASA, 48. So all these firewalls I have experience. Okay.
Okay.
And on load balancer, so I have experience on F5 and Citrix cloud technology. So I do have experience on uh, AWS and Azure. Okay.
Basically, we are going to cover, Azure administration and Azure fundamental. So there are two courses. One is AZ 900 and other is a AZ 104. That is Azure administrator. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the fundamental, which is AZ 900. And here we are going to understand what is the cloud. Okay, what are the types of cloud, what is the services, what are the services offered by the Azure. Okay, what are the physical component and logical component of Azure. All those things we are going to talk over here. So first of all, I'm just going to start that what the benefit you are going to get when you are going to consider a cloud in your environment, right? So if you consider the cloud to upgrade your infrastructure over the cloud, so what are the benefits you would get? So let's talk about them. And here we are going to talk about first high availability. We are going to understand few terms. What is the high availability? So if we talk about high availability, that means the system would be available for the long time. Okay, so that means if one of the system is going to fail, so other system would be taking care of that. Okay, but it's not mean that high availability can provide you backup or it can provide you a disaster recovery. Obviously, high availability is not going to provide that. Okay, for that there is a separate plan. Okay, so I was talking about high availability. So high availability means it is providing you fault tolerance. Okay, if one of the system getting fail, other system would take care of that. But it's not mean that high availability would provide the solution for the backup or disaster recovery. Okay, for there is a different plan. Or if you just want to high performance, that also can be achieved from the high availability, but not truly. Okay, or load balancing. So for that there is a different plan. So don't consider high availability as a backup solution or high performance solution or load balancing solution. But you can consider this as a fault tolerant solution. Okay, if the one of the system getting faulty, the other system is going to take care of that. Why we are going to understand these terms, high availability? Just because of our cloud is a cloud providing the high availability. So if you move any system over the cloud, definitely you would get the benefit of the high availability, right? So yes, that's the meaning of the high availability. Yeah. Okay, moving to next. Scalability. This is the another terms that we need to understand if we are moving our services over the cloud. So what is the meaning of scalability? Scalability means it is used to scale up or scale down the resources. So if you just want to increase the workload, now I would talk about scalability. What is scalability? So when you just want to increase the resources or decrease the resources, and you can do as per your choice, so that thing known as a scalability. So you can take example, we are hosting the services over the cloud. Okay, so cloud just providing the scalability. If you just want to increase the, I mean, it could be automatic or it could be manual. So if you just want to increase the compute power or memory power, okay, or decrease the compute power or memory power as per workload on the resource, so yes, it can be done. Okay, so that is a meaning of scalability. So cloud does support scalability as well. Moving to next is a is elasticity. Elasticity means scale out. So scalability and elasticity is a little difference over here. Okay, let me just talk about. So um, in case of you just want to add any additional resources on the workload means on the server or maybe on the system, any additional resource, not only the um, number of CPU or number of RAM. Okay, I mean size of the CPU or not size of the RAM. You just want to increase additional resources. For example, you just want to add additional IP on the machines, or you just want to add additional NIC card over the machine. Okay, so yes, you can do that without letting your services down. You would be able to increase additional resources over the machines. So that is known as the elasticity, right? So yes, if you want to scale out the resources, additional resources, especially physical resources, so yes, you can uh, do that, and that term is known as elasticity. So cloud does provide the elasticity. Next, it is supporting agility as well. Okay, so if there is any changes, okay, um, on the cloud services, so it would be able to immediately respond those changes. So let's say you just want to provision or deprovision the services. Okay, so yes, you can do with the help of agility itself. Now moving to next. Now let's talk about disaster recovery. So what is the disaster recovery? You might be knowing that, and maybe you have DR plan in your organization. So basically, disaster recovery is the plan which would help to recover from the failure. So if there is any failure happen, okay, due to compute resources or due to power issue or due to let's say a failure of any hardware. So yes, uh, there is a option in the cloud. You can do the disaster recovery. Okay, and for example, you can take the backup of virtual machine, or maybe you can take the backup of your SQL databases. Let's say any virtual machines fail, and you just want to develop, create a similar virtual machine somewhere, and you just want to use same backup, data backup. So yes, you can do that. Now we are going to talk about capex. Okay, so we have two things.
So
Capex
these
is.
services, right, Ahmed, these are the services. Disaster recovery is the service, right?
No, it's a terms, you can
Or
say.
it
These are
is a
the
term?
things
It's a
we
term.
need to
Okay.
understand. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now the next term we are going to understand, that is the capital expenses, and that is known as the capex. So when you are considering any on-premises or cloud services, so definitely you need to think about capital expenses, that how much money you are going to expend for a particular service or for a particular to achieve a particular goal. Okay, so how much capital expenses uh, you are doing. So if we talk about uh, on-premises services, so on-premises services, we have we need it's a predictable fixed cost, I can say, on-premises service, right? So when we talk about predictable services means, that means this is what, when you are going to purchase any hardware, so that this is the fixed price of the hardware, and for particular hardware this is a support cost that is really predictable. Okay, so that you can think about the capital expenses. Okay, and you would know that what would be the maximum cost for a particular uh, service server or the hardware, right? Now, over the time, what would happen? Those servers value is going to be decreases, okay, and it would be wasted once the project is over. So basically, you might have seen that. Let's say you are using any hardware. You can take example of the firewall. So let's say you are using any firewall, or you are using a switch. Over the time, when the that switch came to end of life, so definitely after that there would be no, you won't be getting the actual cost of that. So that is completely waste of the money. So this happen, these capital expenses, we think on premises. When we have on premises infrastructure, that means especially you are hosting your infrastructure inside your data center, or maybe in rented data center. On that cases, you would be thinking about the capital expenses. But if you go on the cloud, so in cloud, you would think about the operational expenditure, that is known as a OPEX. Okay. So here, what you are paying for the ongoing cost. That means whatever the resources you are going to use, you need to pay for them. Okay. Or whatever the service or product you are going to use, you need to pay for them. Okay. And sometimes, some of the cloud service provider, they would offer you some test services or test subscription, I can say. That means if you just want to use any services, before using that services, you can go for the POC, and they may be offering in a low cost or maybe free of the cost. And first test it. If your test is, you get the desired outcome, then you can go and purchase it. Else you can drop the plan, right? And this would help you in operation expenditure if you are going. So it would help you for agile environment, or where demand is unpredictable. So that would be really helpful in the operational model. So I would give you simple example. Let's say there is a company which is related to investment, right? So sometimes you would see that whenever market are really very good, so they would get a lot of hit on their platform. Okay. And if you can take example of after, there was one incident I do remember. There was an announcement of the COVID vaccination. Okay. So most of the platform, let's say we talk about in India, we have, what are the trading platform we have in India? Any, you can take any example of any trading platform. You can take example of Share Khan is one of the trading platform, right? So what happened when the announcement happened for the vaccination? Okay, so a lot of request came for share purchasing. So especially what happened, some of the platform got crashed. Okay, just because of there was huge request for the uh, huge visit on their web pages or maybe on the platform. So if they would be using any kind of operational expenditure, so they could have the increase the services dynamically. Okay, but they were using the physical server, and just because of that, their platform got the crashed. So, operational expenditure, it would be beneficial if you are using any kind of agile environment where demand is unpredictable. So you can choose this operational expenditure. Okay. Or whenever you require to delete the resources, you can delete. And whenever you require to use the resources, you can provision new resources. So just because of that, I mean, cloud service are supporting operational expenditure, not the capital expenses. I hope you got the sense of this operational expenditure.